want to talk about how great Black America is? I know, you might be pleasantly surprised, because I've always seen Black America as a cultural force like none other. It's kind of hard to really quantify their impact, but you see it every day in all corners of the world, from the way that people dress, to the usage of AAVE, to the music and art that people consume, to the constant imitation of everything Black Americans do. America is a global powerhouse. This is a country that gave us Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Beyonce, Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Eddie Murphy, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey. I can go on and on. This episode could literally be me just talking about some great Black Americans. The global and dominant cultural cachet Black America has cannot be overstated. Their culture is the most imitated, referenced, commodified, monetized, and mimicked form of blackness in the world, and that is an undeniable fact.
I understand that we have our differences. I understand the grievances that we have as a people from Africa and a people in America. I want to ask you to look past that for 1 second and just hear me out. Right off the bat, I want to acknowledge one thing. For those of you who consider yourself indigenous to America, I want you to know that I respect you. I respect your heritage, your history, and your claim. And I also understand that you will never leave America. You would rather fight and die for this land, and that is commendable, and it is your prerogative.
The Civil Rights Bill is the reason why our parents got to come over here. 1964, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was one of the most racist son of bitches on the planet, had to sign that civil rights. But you know, Martin Luther King is right next to him. Right. Yeah. So that is the reason why Koreans can come here. Koreans, Indians, Arabs, Nigerians. It's because
to white supremacy, we're all the same. The moment we stop being useful, we're just another target. We need to learn African American history. We need to read their thinkers, their revolutionaries. We need to read their poets, understand their struggle, not as separate from ours, but as the foundation beneath our feet. If you're African, immigrant, Caribbean, anyone who came here and benefited from African American blood, you owe them your respect. You owe them your solidarity. You owe them the humility to learn before you judge. Stop peddling white supremacist thought. Stop distancing yourself to feel safe. Stop letting the system use you as a wedge against the people who built the road you're walking on. We're all Black in America, all of us, every single one. The sooner we stand together, not in competition, not in judgment, but in recognition, the sooner we can all be free. The ignorance has to end. It starts with us. It starts with admitting we carried it here, over the Atlantic. It starts with putting it down.
God, I'm like, girl, how are you doing it? Then she explained to me. I started buying the products. I even started using it for my daughter, right? We have to understand that we are not from the same place. Like the way we're raised, we can't expect them to do exactly like us. At some point, these people are role models when it comes to beauty, when it comes to cosmetic, all those stuff. So we have to learn how to tolerate, how to calm down, and we should stop judging these people. Because at the end of the day, not the way we were raised, that's not how they were raised.
Like I've mentioned so many times before, when I lived in America, Black Americans were by far my favorite people. And I am so grateful to God Almighty for them because they helped me heal and reconcile a deeper part of my being.
Saying that to the United States, I have assimilated to the culture. I am Nigerian. Now, I already have a lot of culture packed into me, but something about like HBCU, the whole fraternity culture, to a degree, a lot of it is just like motivating. Like it just makes you want to go get them. Like, go get them. Go take over the world.
I just feel like the Black community, they have tried to warn all of us.
Black American culture haven't influenced the world would be a lie. The proof, in every country, there's at least one rapper. In every country, there's at least one R&B singer. In the Ivory Coast, we have what we call rap ivoire. It's literally hip-hop with an Ivorian beat. And we all know that. We all admit that. We all know where it comes from. If I see even one rapper, that means your country has been influenced. If in your country there's R&B singer, that means you have been influenced. Google this singer. His name is Imha. But what does he do? Gangster rap. Drill. Let's not be hypocrite. And let's just admit, the same way our culture has influenced their culture has influenced our culture back. Where's the bad thing? Why is that even a fight? Good or bad, the culture still influence other people. Hair is part of a culture. The way people do the hair is part of a culture. Doing your baby hair, slaying your baby hair is not part of your African culture. It's not.
If it wasn't for Black Americans, I, as an African person, wouldn't have the opportunities that I have today in America. If it wasn't for Black Americans, I wouldn't have the opportunities I have today. So I can't really say that, because Black Americans may have their issues, but they have a better sense of community than Africans. I can say for Nigerians, they have a better sense of community, and they enjoy communal, like making sure, I'm not saying that they do it perfectly, but you can tell that they put up a fight for their community. They put up a fight for their community more than Nigerians. Sorry, it hurts, but that's the truth.
Do Africans want to be like African Americans? The answer is yes. I was going through my Google Photos recently, and come and see the things I found. This is specimen 1. This is the first example I found. I had to ask myself, why were we dressed like this? The only reason I could think of was because for the past how many years we have been watching 106 and Park. This is the influence. Is that not T.I. on the right? Is that not T.I., my boy? His name is Toby. That's why we dress like fake chains. But we did not give a fuck. We wanted to be like you guys. Many of us in this picture had never even stepped out of Nigeria before. But why are we dressed like this? So if any African ever comes to you telling you nonsense, just tell them to shut up, because this is the truth. We wanted to be like you guys. You guys are cool as fuck, so don't be listening to anybody else. Thank you.
So today I'm going to be showing you guys a visual as to...
I'm an immigrant. I relocated from Jamaica when I was 12 to America. I don't see a lot of people like me speaking out about what's happening with the voting rights and the suppression of Black votes, because I think we're all under the impression that this affects only Black Americans, and that is also a very disgusting thought, and it validates all the diaspora wars that are on this platform. But that's another topic for another day. We should be ashamed of ourselves, because I only see Black Americans and white people speaking out about what's happening in Tennessee, speaking out that the fact that the Supreme Court and all these representatives are completely disregarding civil rights that not only Black American benefit from, they're the only ones that fought for it in this country, but globally, large groups of people, especially brown people, benefit from it. Asian, South Asian, Middle Eastern, wherever you're from, you benefit from those civil rights. And no one is speaking out about it and continuously letting the people who already fought alone continuously fight alone. To even think that you are separate is insane. And that is why the country is in the state it's in. Y'all have created divisions and alliances with losers.
Have you ever ignored a warning only to realize that the person warning you was right all along? That is the conversation taking place across social media right now. Many immigrants from Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, and other parts of the world arrive in the United States with hope, ambition, and I believe that handwork alone guarantees success. For many, America represents opportunity, freedom, and the chance to build a better future. But what happens when some of these newcomers begin experiencing challenges they never expected? What happens when they start facing obstacles that others have been talking about for decades? Today we are looking at growing discussion online where some immigrants are saying that Black Americans warned them about certain realities of life in America, but they didn't fully understand those warnings until they experienced difficulties for themselves. Now, before we continue, this is not about attacking any group. This is not about saying that one community is right and another is wrong. This is about listening, learning, and understanding different perspectives.
As an African woman living in the United States, I have never experienced prejudice from Black Americans or African Americans, however you call yourself. Never. I came to this country and I was embraced and welcomed by them. They love me. I love them back. Like, I found my people, for real. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I found my people.
when it's time to give kudos, that's what I'm going to do. So shout out to this African woman for giving praise to FBA and thanking us and saying that we have the right to be angry at what's going on right now.
Us immigrants, not all of us, but a lot of us, seem to forget, or maybe they just don't know. But if you have been living in this country long enough, you should know that. The reason why we're here, the reason why we are allowed to be here, is because of the work Black Americans did. Because of the sacrifices they did. Because all the fights they had to fight in order for us, for them, because they didn't do it for us, they did it for themselves, and it's right. But today we are enjoying the fruit of their labor. And we should not forget that. I'm an immigrant. And yes, in my community, or in the immigrant community, and nobody can say otherwise, is a lot of disrespect for African American. There's a lot of it. I have heard it. And I have to admit that when I first came, I was also ignorant of their history. But after being in this country, for the amount of time I have been here, if I act like I don't know that, it means that I'm willingly demeaning them. They are mad. And you know what immigrants should do right now? We should not be arguing with them. We should be quiet and listen. Listen to what they're saying. Listen. No. It is not about us. It's about how they feel. It's about the experience. And guys, they are right. Many immigrant community call them lazy. They're not lazy. They even say they don't have a culture, and that's an insult. Of course they have a culture. Of course they do. In the music, in the food, in the way they live their life, in the way they dress, they have a culture. And by the way, a culture that is a leader in many ways. Our children in Africa dress like Black children. Children in Asia dress like Black children. Children in Latin America, in Europe. So please stop saying, and it's not only limited to clothing. It's in music, it's in history, it's in literature, it's in science. The immigrant community need to stop demeaning and disrespecting Black American. They are mad, and they have all the right to be mad. Now, if my immigrant community or my African community want to come after me for what I say, that is on you. I don't care. Because the truth is the truth. And we need to admit where we're coming short. You're going to come to people's house, and you want to look down at them? You want to disrespect them? Yes, not all Africans. Yes, not all Latino. Yes, not all blah, blah, blah. All Asian, blah, blah, blah. But enough to make a lot of noise. But enough for them to be mad, rightfully so. We need to be quiet now and listen to what they have to tell us. No doubting the experience, no undermining the experience, no forgetting the accomplishments. We need to stop that. We need to stop, particularly the African community. You want to say they are our brother and sister and this is how you're treating them? Not everybody, but a lot of us do. We look down. We criticize them. We do it and we should not deny it. As a community, we do it and we need to stop. Unity will be great. We
just feel like the Black community, they have tried to warn all of us.
Yeah, you right. We tried to warn you, but you just didn't want to listen. And now that they're knocking at your door, you want to do something. Y'all really need to go back and see everything that she said. For real. You really think that showing up to a march is enough? You really think that buying a pin is enough? You really think that being a keyboard warrior is enough while we out here dying? And you want to mock us and make fun of us when we get to a point where we're just like saying we can't stand y'all and we don't want to be anywhere around you. It's because of this. Now understand, like, being compassionate in all of it, I get that you don't know what you don't know. But we know enough that we believe all women. We know enough that we believe all children, right? Shouldn't we know enough that when people of color are saying something, we should believe them? That we don't need to check out the whole story. We don't need to see what happened before the video started. And like I said, like, I want to be compassionate, but it's really tough. And I've said for a long time, us, we were the beta testers. And since you sat around and didn't do anything, now nothing's going to happen for you because it's gone too far, right? They're already in position to do what they're going to do to you. just like they've been doing to us. Because what it needed to take was not buying a pen, not being a keyboard warrior, but actually like getting into Congress, writing your senators and, voting in the right people that were going to put the right laws in order to do the right things. And you just didn't. So, yeah, now everything's coming to what it's coming to, and you're just going to get to deal with it. And nobody's coming to save you because you never came to save us. And the funny thing is that if we did save you, you would just do what you did with the whole feminism thing, right? Just leave us in the dust. Sorry, not sorry.
Some immigrants say that when they first arrived in America, they believed that many of the struggles discussed by Black Americans were unique to that community. They believed that if they worked hard, stayed focused, and followed the rules, those problems would never affect them. But after years, some of those individuals are sharing stories about workplace discrimination, economic barriers, immigration challenges, unequal treatment, and obstacles they never expected to encounter. And now they are saying something surprising. We were warned. They are saying that Black Americans were talking about these issues before they personally experienced them. So the question is, why were those warnings dismissed? Why did so many people believe those concerns were only applied to the Black Americans, and what changed their minds? That is what we are going to explore today, because whether you agree or disagree with this perspective, one thing is clear. More and more people are having this conversation, and some of the stories we are about to look at might completely change the way you think about that issue. But before we get into it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do people have to experience something themselves before they truly understand it? Or should we do a better job listening to experiences of others? Let's talk about it. So what has made this conversation so interesting is that people from different backgrounds are sharing similar frustrations, even though their journey to America were different. Some Latino immigrants say they are discovering how difficult it can be to navigate the immigration system, the rising living costs, and barriers to economic mobility despite working multiple jobs. Some African immigrants who once believed opportunity alone would guarantee success are now speaking about workplace challenges, credential recognition issues, and the reality that handwork does not always lead to success. Caribbean immigrants are sharing stories about struggling with housing affordability, job opportunities, and the pressures of building in an increasingly expensive economy. Even many working-class white Americans have voiced concerns about stagnant wages, job insecurity, and a system they feel is becoming harder for ordinary people to succeed in. And what is bringing these conversations together is growing realization of the economic and institutional challenges being discussed are affecting a much wider range of immigrants than people initially assumed. For some immigrants, that realization has led to them to revisit warnings they once dismissed and to acknowledge that there may have been more truth to those concerns than they originally believed. Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and kindly remember to keep it respectful. Thank you so much for watching. In case you're new on this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button to join our family. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.